gonna lose her again. It's not Clark.
My name is Kara. I will help you.
Interesting group. Want some help?
I love this incarnation of the character because she's so different from any that we've seen in live action before. So what was the most unexpected place that you found inspiration for how you would portray her, how you would craft her personality?
I always say that I felt like this character was written in the stars for me to play. And it was just wild because a lot of like her feelings I had experienced in my life. And I think that that's a wild thing to discover, right? That like to really trust the universe because even if you're having bad days, the universe really knows what it's doing and it's guiding you. And when I got this job and when I had to feel all her feelings, I had them. I had a little pocket of like, you know what that feels like. You know what isolation feels like. You know what grief feels like. You know what protecting someone feels like. That's a really beautiful thing. I think she's such a beautiful superhero, and I'm just so honored to love her and become her.
I heard, did you meet up with Henry Cavill too? And did he give you some advice on playing her?
So I guess they like mixed this up yesterday. I don't know how it happened, but I met him after. So I met him after the movie was done. I gave him a big hug. It was months after, and he had watched the film. And I have the deepest respect for Henry Cavill. He's an icon, obviously, or Superman. And I was like, did I do you well? Do you approve? Does Superman approve? Does the cuz approve? He's like, it's Superman approved. That meant the world to me. I'm a big superhero fan. I've watched Man of Steel multiple times. That was just a kind human, man. Like he really was like, well done. And that meant the world to me,
That's awesome. He has played Superman multiple times. What about you? Would you be down for returning in some capacity?
Dude, you don't have to ask me that. You don't have to ask me that. I hope so. I hope I can continue playing her and unraveling all her beautiful aspects. I feel like this movie is a runway to her and to discovering her and discovering her beauties and her complexities. We discover a lot of her pain and her grief, but she's also she's joy and she's just so I really love her. I really think the world has to see more of her for sure.
So you're saying you could travel back in time?
But Bruce, I can fix things. I could save people. I could save my mom. I could save your parents.
You could also destroy everything.
The two of you were in an intriguing situation while you were making this film because James Gunn and Peter Safran took over DC Studios, announced a new era. Did you have any conversations with James and Peter about how to contextualize where this film sits in terms of the larger narrative that's unfolding?
When James and Peter came in, the movie was finished. But I think the idea of multiverse really allows, it's more about beginnings than endings. It's a movie that allows many things to happen. We certainly hope that the universe absorbs this movie and really takes advantage of the things that this movie presents to create new adventures.
We're very fortunate that James and Peter loved the movie since the minute they saw it. So I think that it is very much in their hearts to incorporate it in the plan.
Well, let me ask you this one, because your Batman stuff in this film is fantastic, and I want to get into that. Both Ben and Michael, amazing. Would you guys be down for sticking around in DC and maybe taking on another project for James and Peter? There is a Batman and Robin film that's on the schedule, but I'm just curious whether or not you'd stick around.
Of course, we would love to. We can't speak about those things yet, but it feels like very exciting.
We're part of a family for sure.
That's great to hear. Speaking of the Batman stuff, and Michael Keaton is the Batman that I grew up with. He's my Batman. In terms of getting Michael Keaton into this film, did he have any specific requests? Did he say, yeah, I'll play Batman for you, but X, Y, or Z has to happen?
He didn't have to. From the beginning, I was very clear about my intention to open the conversation to his thoughts and ideas, and we did talk a lot, and mainly the main focus of that conversation is how do we find Bruce Wayne 30 years after the last time that the audience saw him. So that was the matter of the most of the conversations, and we finally agreed on what it is. I really wanted Bruce Wayne that goes against the expectations of the audience. In my opinion, it shouldn't be the same way that we saw him for the last time. And also I needed, for me, it was very important to provide possibility for transformation during our movie. And that's why I advocated and finally agreed with Michael that we should find Bruce the way we find him.
Was it always Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck as your Batman? There were a lot of other guys that played Batman over the years. Did you ever try to slide anybody else in there?
The idea of Batman as such an integral part of this story is something that started growing up and becoming stronger and stronger as we worked with Christina Hodson on the story. I think Batman became stronger as an idea, and also the idea of also portraying Affleck's Batman as a strong companion, as a strong ally and father figure of Barry at the beginning of the movie, just to set up things and then subvert them with the apparition of the other Batman.
But Keaton was essential. We could not have made this movie without him. It's a universe that is around his Batman.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think the opening sequence of this film is one of the best that we've ever seen in a comic book movie, between the Ben Affleck Batman chase and then the Flash rescuing those babies from the hospital. It's just amazing. Could you just kind of set up like what inspired that sequence and maybe break it down a little bit?
Well, yeah, I really wanted to make an opening that just capture the attention of the audience. You have to really take advantage of your opening scene especially now with people with the audiences being hard to capture their attention. And
You got one shot.
And I really wanted to not only from an audience perspective, but I really wanted to put Flash to a test. In the sense of, you can be the fastest man alive, but still there will be something that will put you to a test. And if you have to save 4 babies of being burned, even though you're the fastest man alive, you will have to use your wit to solve those problems. And that's the way to do it. It's like it's a balancing act. And we see in that scene, we see that Barry is not just a fast guy. He's just smart to utilize that speed in under duress. And of course, it was I really wanted to make this a big scene. In the original script, there was a scene in a volcano, so I brought it up to Christina Hodson, and she loved the idea of having babies in the air and Barry having to save them. So we just worked on it and kind of threw the sink at it. Mm-hmm. I'm very happy